Fatma is a Netflix original Turkish series that's 6 episodes long, 45 minutes apiece. And if you looked at it originally and Netflix said each episode is 3 hours and you went, oh, there's no way I'm watching that, you'd be excused going, yeah, 3 hours per episode, 16 hours for one series. Oh, yeah, crazy. They made a mistake. So if you're looking at it and it's still up there like that, then don't worry. They're about 40 to 45 minutes apiece. Let's dive in. Essentially, Fatma is about a woman in search of her husband, and something dark that has happened in both of their pasts spurs this journey along. It's a thriller drama series about a woman's discovery, really, a thriller story of how she progresses from one episode to the next in search of her husband, but in also search of that thing that has happened without doing spoilers in the back. It was very good in the mystery sort of sense of the storyline, but also a bit convoluted in the we're just going to keep stringing you along and not really tell you anything until we need you to, but also you're going to figure everything out at the same time. So there was that. That was my negativity of the series. I do feel, however, that the protagonist, our female lead, is excellent. She carries a sense of drama, a sense of real foreboding. She carries this sense of just someone that is in turmoil, but also just in deep, deep depression. And there's a violence about her that you don't really have to hear, you just get to feel. And that comes from her acting, which I really appreciated. The cinematography for the most part does keep you on edge. There isn't anything massively like, wow, that's cinematography, man, it looks awesome. But it is entertaining. The way it's fleshed out, the lighting, the color palette, the acting, all of it is crafted very well together. I would say that the ending of this series, sorry, I'm jumping right like from the beginning to the end. The ending of this series left me a little, I'm not sure I like how it ended, but I understand what you've done. It does have a fruition ending, so there's a complete arc, so you can settle into yourself like, is this one of those that's just going to leave me going, oh, there's no ending in sight? No, that's okay. They have a complete story here that's very interesting to watch. Saying that I loved this series or I really enjoyed it feels wrong because of the topic, but as a drama and a thriller, I thought the story was very entertaining. I did feel like they could have probably shaved off an episode. I think it could have been 5 quite easily. There's a lot of foreboding, long looks and quiet stares when somebody ask a question to, especially to our main protagonist, and they say like, where have you, where is this thing that I want? And she doesn't reply, she just replies with silence. If she's being interviewed by the police and she's sitting at a table, the character will often be asked questions, she'll just like be quiet for like 10 to 15 seconds, and there's that kind of tense atmosphere of building that sometimes feels like it's too much, and you're like, please move the story along just a little bit, please. For the most part, the pacing is okay, but there is that sort of that drawn out sequences that I think sometimes you could have just gotten rid of. There is also a sort of feeling of a soap to some of the characters when Fatma is interacting with her sister. Sometimes it feels a bit soap. If you know what I mean by that, it's like watching your daily soap of drama and people shouting at each other, and that, again, I think could have been moved aside. There is, however, in here a very interesting story that I was very intrigued by, and that is about their family dynamic and what has happened in the past. The IMDb description or synopsis for this is not very good. It doesn't give you a sense of idea of what this series really is about. It's about Fatma having to do terrible things in order to discover where her husband is, in order to discover what's going on, and also just to stay alive. And it's that makes the story intriguing. It takes a character that is totally ignored by society, ignored by men. It's definitely a culture thing as well. It's that thing where women are lesser than in the storyline. Unless you have massive money and your husband is something important, then you as a woman of standing will have lots of riches, and you're looked upon as you are of worth. And this series kind of plays with that a little bit. So Fatma is a cleaner as well, so she has a job where she meets different characters. There's an author who I thought was very interesting, but we don't get a lot of that story fleshed out. There's a woman that is fairly wealthy by the looks of it, that she has to do Fatma has to do the cooking and the cleaning, and also kind of care for the child. So she's almost like a surrogate mother in that one household. And these side stories with the people that she cleans for, when you get to meet those characters, I really felt like I wanted to know more about those characters. The story doesn't ever go much into them, although the story is not about them. So where the story really, really is great is the part where you see Fatma having to deal or do things to progress the storyline, and you don't expect her to be able to do things like that. And it's at one point you're thinking to yourself, is Fatma a genius, or does she have plot protection or just luck? And I think it might be all three. She has plot protection, she has luck, and she might be a bit of a mastermind. There are things that she is twisting using her. Using the edge of herself not being noticed by society or by men or by anybody. She's this person that will walk past, in this culture, walk past you and no one will even think or blink twice. She could walk past you and take the contents of your safe and you wouldn't notice because she is nothing. And it explores that and she uses that to her best ability. And that for me was very interesting. I like those aspects of the storyline. It kept me intrigued enough to be watching it to the end, but there's a reveal of a storyline of something that happened towards the episode 5 and 6 is where stories start getting answered. There's a few multiple storyline threads that aren't answered, but they're, for the most part, everything is concluded nicely, but it's really the puzzle pieces that come together in the end, although I do think you're going to have figured them all out by the time you get to the end. I would say the acting in this was enjoyable. I thought the lead was fantastic. I thought the sister was okay. There are some other male protagonists that are playing their characters with what they've been given well. I would say this is definitely one of those series where men come off looking like jerks. I think I saw one male character out of the 10 that we play with in this series being okay. Not great, but just good. The rest of men in this series is just sucky dudes. I would like there to be like just one decent male character. I've watched so many series recently where men are just bad and awful and there doesn't seem to be any smart guys or any this is my rant, any smart guys, any intelligent guys, that kind of thing. I don't think it's a woke series. I just think it's a story that's told from this perspective of Fatma and is relevant to what happens in society in that culture, if that makes sense. But for the most part, I thought it was really enjoyable in that sense. It's a dark series, it's a dark theme, but well put together. I'm going to give this a B. Thanks so much for watching, but most of all, until next time, remember, live long and choose life.